Craft beers. Craft beer is a broad term that refers to beers that are made by small, independent breweries. These beers are often more flavorful and complex than mass-produced beers, and they come in a wide variety of styles. Pale ale. One of the most popular styles of craft beer is the pale ale. Pale ales are characterized by their balance of malt sweetness and hop bitterness. They are typically golden in color and have a moderate ABV of 4 to 6% and IBU of 30 to 50. India Pale Ale. Another popular style of craft beer is the India Pale Ale, or IPA. IPAs are known for their intense hop flavor, which can be citrusy, piney, or tropical. They are typically golden to copper in color and have a higher ABV of 5 to 7% and IBU of 50 to 80. The history of pale ales and India Pale Ales, IPAs, is a long and storied one. Pale ales originated in England in the 17th century and were originally brewed with pale malts, which gave them their golden color. IPAs, on the other hand, were developed in the 18th century as a way to preserve beer during the long journey from England to India. To do this, brewers added more hops to the beer, which helped to keep it fresh. The hops also gave the beer a more bitter flavor, which was thought to be more appealing to the Indian palate. IPAs quickly became popular in India, and they eventually made their way back to England. Today, IPAs are one of the most popular styles of craft beer in the world. Key events in the history of pale ales and IPAs. 1642. The first pale ale is brewed in England. 1770. George Hodgson, a brewer in London, begins exporting pale ales to India. 1822. The first IPA is brewed in England. 1970s. The craft beer movement begins in the United States. 1980s. IPAs become increasingly popular in the United States. 2000s. IPAs become one of the most popular styles of craft beer in the world. Porter. Porters are a dark style of beer that is made with roasted malts. They are typically brown to black in color and have a smooth, malty flavor. Porters can have a low to medium ABV of 4 to 6% and IBU of 20 to 40. The history of porter beer is closely tied to the history of London. In the 1700s, London was a major port city, and porters were popular among the working class. They were seen as a more affordable and refreshing alternative to the heavier ales that were popular at the time. Porters quickly became popular throughout England, and they eventually made their way to other parts of the world. In the United States, porters became popular during the American Revolution. They were seen as a patriotic beer, as they were brewed with American-grown hops. Stout. Stouts are a dark style of beer that is made with roasted malts and often has a higher ABV than porters. They are typically black in color and have a rich chocolatey flavor. Stouts can be either dry or sweet. ABV of 4 to 8% and IBU of 20 to 40. The history of stout beer is closely linked to the history of porter beer. Stouts are a type of porter that is made with roasted barley, which gives them a darker color and richer flavor. The first stouts were brewed in London in the 18th century, and they were originally called Stout Porters. The term stout was first used to describe a type of porter in 1756. The word stout originally meant strong or robust, and it was used to describe the more full-flavored porters that were being brewed at the time. Stout porters quickly became popular, and they eventually became known simply as stouts. Stouts were seen as a more refined and sophisticated beer than porters, and they were often served in elegant pubs and taverns. In the 19th century, stouts became increasingly popular, and they were exported to other parts of the world. In Ireland, stouts were brewed with roasted barley from the nearby town of Dingle, which gave them a distinctive flavor. These stouts became known as Dingle Stouts, and they were eventually renamed Guinness Stouts. Guinness Stouts quickly became popular in Ireland, and they eventually became one of the most famous beers in the world. Today, Guinness Stout is still one of the most popular stouts in the world. Wheat beer. Wheat beers are made with wheat malt, which gives them a smooth, refreshing flavor. They are typically light in color and have a low to moderate ABV of 4 to 5% and IBU of 15 to 30. Wheat beer has a long and storied history, dating back to ancient Egypt. The first wheat beers were brewed in Mesopotamia, and they were made with a variety of wheats, including emmer, einkorn, and spelt. These early wheat beers were often flavored with spices, such as coriander and cumin. wheat beer eventually made its way to Europe, where it became popular in Germany and Belgium. In Germany, wheat beers are known as Weissbier or Hefeweizen, and they are typically brewed with a top fermenting yeast that gives them a fruity and clove-like flavor. In Belgium, wheat beers are known as witbier or Belgian white, and they are often flavored with spices, such as coriander and orange peel. Lager. Lagers are a type of beer that is fermented at cooler temperatures than ales. They are typically golden in color and have a crisp, refreshing flavor. Lagers can have a low to high ABV of 4 to 5% and IBU of 15 to 30. Lager beer is a type of beer that is fermented at cooler temperatures than ales. This gives lagers a crisp, refreshing flavor that is often described as clean. Lagers are the most popular type of beer in the world, and they are brewed in many different countries. The history of lager beer is a long and complex one. The first lagers were brewed in Germany in the 15th century. These early lagers were brewed with a bottom fermenting yeast that was originally found in caves. The yeast fermented the beer at cooler temperatures, which gave it a different flavor than ales. Lagers quickly became popular in Germany, and they eventually made their way to other parts of Europe. In the 19th century, lagers were introduced to the United States, and they quickly became one of the most popular types of beer in the country. Today, there are many different types of lager beer available. Some of the most popular varieties include Pilsner. This is the classic style of lager, and it is characterized by its pale color, crisp flavor, and high carbonation. Marzen. This style of lager is brewed in the fall and winter, and it is typically served during Oktoberfest. Doppelbock. This is a strong lager that is typically brewed with a higher ABV than a standard lager. Key events in the history of lager beer. 15th century. The first lagers are brewed in Germany. 16th century. Lagers become popular in Germany. 19th century. Lagers are introduced to the United States. 20th century. Lagers become the most popular type of beer in the world. What is ABV? ABV stands for alcohol by volume, and it is a measure of the percentage of alcohol in a beverage. It is calculated by dividing the volume of alcohol in a beverage by the total volume of the beverage and multiplying by 100. For example, a beer with an ABV of 5% means that there are 5 milliliters of alcohol in every 100 milliliters of beer. What is IBU? IBU stands for International Bitterness Units, and it is a measure of the bitterness of a beer. It is calculated by measuring the amount of isohumulones, a type of hop compound, in a beer. The higher the IBU, the more bitter the beer will be. Craft beer is a vast and diverse world, offering an endless array of flavors, aromas, and experiences. Whether you find yourself drawn to the balanced embrace of a pale ale, the hoppy adventure of an IPA, the dark richness of a porter or stout, the refreshing smoothness of a wheat beer, or the crispness of a lager, there is a craft beer style waiting to captivate your taste buds and ignite your imagination. So, raise your glass and embark on your own journey of discovery, savoring each sip and celebrating the artistry of craft beer. Tell us in the comment section on what other drinks you want to see.